Welcome along, guys. Our adventure began in Rome.
Just around, right on a bullet train to
Naples to get the train to Pompeii. So, while planning the trip to Rome, we suddenly realised that we could also go to Pompeii. So we booked ourselves on this bullet train, and I have to say, an absolutely amazing experience. So, first we had to make it to Naples, and with speeds of up to 300 kilometres, it wasn't going to take too long.
yeah, we're in Naples. We're just waiting on the train to go to Pompei.
It's worth noting that there are many shops that scattered when you arrive, but be warned, these are tourist traps.
Pompei.
After you've made your way through the ticket booth, you start walking up a hill and you see Pompeii. There's an archway, and it's amazing the pathway that leads up, the workmanship that went into making the pathways. But as you walk through this first tunnel part, there's a doorway just here on your right hand side. There's amazing artwork, but please be warned, there are body remains in here, so if you want to avoid it, this is the first place not to go. Seeing the remains or the silhouettes of the body are extremely upsetting. Children, mothers, fathers, but also the rich. And it made no odds at the end of the day if you were wealthy or not. You were losing your life on that day. Okay, so when you come out from the tunnel there, you'll come up to this statue and you're in the forum. Away off to your left hand side, there's a shed down below. It's a tinned roof, and that's where the other bodies are, and I'll refer to that later. It's just for people that want to avoid it. Now, yes, Pompeii has these horrors, but there's the other side. It's absolutely stunning. I can only imagine what the city used to be like, and it's huge. All different houses, there's beautiful gardens that were there, the plaster work still remains, mosaics, artwork, and it's absolutely stunning. I easily spent the day here, and leaving I had only seen a fraction of it and just wanted to see more. It's a beautiful place. It's open air, you can wander where you like, and I was lucky enough that the time of year there wasn't many people. It's interesting. Most big attractions kind of have these tin roofs over them, and you go in, it's beautiful mosaics. The workmanship that went into these places, phenomenal. But just as you're wandering the streets, you can walk into people's houses, and even in them, just the normal houses, like the plaster work, like it's breathtaking. And like I said, you can wander the city freely, and you just get lost, your imagination runs wild till you come across these beautiful squares, open areas where people would be. And then every now and again you're going to come across these buildings, and above the doorway there'll be a penis carved into the rock, or it may be on the ground, and these represented the brothels. The other interesting thing is the pathways. As you're walking along them, apparently water used to flow along them, and every now and again there's these stepping stones where you can walk across, but you can also see the track marks from the horse and carriage. They were that well travelled that the track marks have worn into the pathways. It's amazing to see. It was a fully living, breathing city. The biggest surprise to me in Pompeii was the amphitheatre. I didn't actually know anything about this. It was built in 700 BC, and it's the oldest known stone structure of its kind, and surviving because it was buried. It's an absolutely amazing place, and over the years there's actually concerts being held there. They don't actually do it anymore, but when you walk through here, this is where the gladiators fought to their deaths, and all the spectators were up above watching. It's an amazing place, and when you walk through the catacombs underneath, you see where the gladiators would have been, or you can walk out and see where the spectators would have sat. There's a kind of an eerie feeling underground when you know what the people had to go through. This is a must-see if you're here, and I strongly recommend it. Okay, so just across the road you have the Place de Grand, or the Grand Gym. This is an amazing place where the gladiators used to train, and even young people. And some of the display and artwork here, there's remains, there's swords, there's spearheads as you see. There's many artifacts here, and it's an amazing place. There's also pieces of wood from over 2,000 years ago, and some clothing that they found, foods that people would have. It's well worth a visit, and it's free in, just wander around. Another great place to see is Teatro Grande, the Grand Theatre. This is where the people of Pompeii went to see plays, comedies, things other than just watching fights in the Colosseums. Now, moving on up from here, we're going to head back up to the main forum, and this is the shed where there was 10 years earlier on, where there are unfortunately bodies remaining. In the sheds here, there's also there's things like there's anchors, artwork, many different fountains, time clocks, pottery. It's absolutely amazing thing to see, but there are unfortunately bodies. There's a thing that people have started doing with the water fountains. When you come close, people have been flicking coins into the fountains, and I think the reason is the state doesn't actually fund the upkeep of here, so any donations that people throw in go along with your ticket you've paid into the upkeep. This here is a dog, it's contorted. There's a child in here which is extremely upsetting, and then you'll see a person now that looks like they were asleep when they were buried. It's really eerie. Okay, so we're nearing the end now. So I hope you found some of this interesting. You can actually go to Pompeii and not actually have to see the bodies. You can avoid it. You're given a map at the start, and the places where I told you, if you find them, you don't have to see it. But make no mistake, Pompeii is absolutely beautiful. One thing I find kind of strange is with the train station here, they call it the marina. And when you look out and see how far away the sea is, it kind of makes me wonder, is that where we all got filled in by volcanic ash? Well, I'm not sure. Anyway, we're heading back to Rome. So, thanks for tagging along, and I hope you enjoyed. Cheers, bye.